Hi guys, here I am with my modern deck after the bannings. I originally was playing a Gifts Ungiven deck, but after losing Punishing Fire and Grove of the Burnwillows, I'm gonna have to work on that a bit longer since that was sort of my main win condition and how we were able to stabilize against a lot of aggressive decks. Um, this originally started off as a Gifts Ungiven deck, but slowly just moved to a solid Urzatron deck, and it's blue-green Urzatron. So first off, Academy Ruins, which combos with Mindslaver to lock a person out. Um, I haven't ever done it in with this deck in practicing, but hopefully it'll happen once or twice, at least. Then we our Eldrazi Temples, just extra like Urza lands for casting our Eldrazi if that ever comes about. Eye of Ugin, probably the best Eldrazi land, able to reduce the cost on these guys, but then also able to tutor up. Really good against control because you can just play the long game of playing lands, tutor up a Eldrazi, and then cast it on them for value. Then we have our Urzatron. I have one of each art. I know you're not supposed to because that way if they like peek at your hand, you might play the other land, and then that way they knew what you drew for the turn. But as long as you play as long as you play smart and don't play a land that they already, or play the land that you drew instead of playing the land that they saw, you should be fine. So yeah, one of each is land, old art. Here we have two islands. It's more important to have the double and triple blue, so we only have islands instead of forests. If you get a forest, sometimes that'll mana screw you, as a lot of times you end up with multiple color lands, but only like one or two of, or multiple colorless lands, but one or two of the actual colors you need. Then we have Breeding Pool, a fetchable dual land. We have two of them, so that way we can make sure to fix our mana if we get enough fetch lands. Hinterland Harbor normally just comes in as Tropical Island, um, and normally enters untapped, where you can like fetch for something, or we play it first turn, tapped, and don't lose any value off of that. So these have actually been pretty amazing in testing. And then Misty Rainforest to fetch up our lands. Then we move on to our spells. In the 2 mana spot, we have Explore and Signet. Both of these are just mana ramp. Signet fixes our colors from these colorless lands, and Explore is just really good. Draws you extra cards, plays extra lands. Make sure you can cast your Oracle of Mildia on turn 3. This, by far, is the heart of the deck, the most important part of it. Just, this thing can do some nutty stuff. If they just leave it alive for too long, they're going to be run aground by so many lands coming into play. You can just start playing multiple spells a turn, and extra Blue Sun Zenith mana, extra mana to do Tooth and Nail and something else in a turn. Hold up Cryptic Command and cast a Time Warp. Oracle Mildia is pretty insane. Talking about Cryptic Command, 4 of them in the deck. Not sure if this is right or not, but the card's really good. Sometimes you can just fog. It's mainly just fog and it cantrips, but also can counter key spells and bounce, important permanents that may be locking out. It's mainly just a catch-all. Then we have 4 Time Warps, which go really well with Oracle of Mildia, but most of the time it's just like a super Explore, draws you a card, lets you play a land, and untaps your mana. Then we move on to Mindslaver, which we already talked about. Goes with Academy Ruins to lock people out. A lot of times you have extra mana, need something to do with it. Taking a turn isn't too bad. Then we have 3 Tooth and Nail. Didn't really want 4. If you draw too many of them in your early hand, you really only need to cast and resolve 1. And this deck can do it on like turn 4, cast a Tooth and Nail, go get 2 big guys entwined, Sometimes you can just, if you draw one of these guys, you can put it in early, just cast it for its normal amount and put a creature into play. Then we move on to our Eldrazi. We have one of each. Ulamog to destroy a permanent, Kozilek draws extra cards, and Emrakul takes an extra turn and pretty much just wins the game. Then we move on to 3 Blue Sun Zenith. I know the triple blue seems kind of hard in a deck with a ton of colorless lands, but this is a key card against like control decks, and just being able to, when you have nothing to do, you can pretty much just turn your whole entire hand into, or all the mana that you have on the board into a new hand, and a turn, so you can do it in response to like a teachings, or if they're gifts for something, you can just draw a ton of cards and punish players for tapping out. And that's mainly the deck. Half of it's lands, half of it's spells. Most of the spells are just for getting more lands, and a few big things. A lot of times people just concede when you like do something like a Blue Sun for 9 or cast Tooth and Nail and entwine it, and they just know what's going to happen and just concede to you. So yeah, sideboard, not as good. I haven't really got to work with it much. The main thing in it is 4 All Is Dust. It's just Wrath of God that we can consistently cast. Then we have 4 Witchbane Orb. I'm not sure if this is right, but it originally started out as like ley lines, but I wanted to be able to cast them if I drew it. And it's just something colorless, turn 3, can drop down a Witchbane Orb and try to protect us from against Storm or something. Boseiju, really good against counter spells. It's kind of hefty that it comes into play tap, and you have to pay 2 life, because a lot of times we're just using all our mana tapping out, so I'm not sure about it in the main deck, so right now I'm trying it out just as a sideboard option against control. So we'll see about that. Evacuation, just to buy us time, good against like Polymorph and stuff like that. People who, what is that, Living End, they'll, cast their Living End, get a ton of stuff, you'll just evacuate to buy more time. And then 4 Spell Pierce for combo matchups and things that are just kind of low on their mana. You can just use this. Mainly everything's just to buy you more time. Witchbane Orb isn't a permanent answer, neither is Spell Pierce or Evacuation. All of this is pretty permanent, but it's not ideal. It's not very quick. I mean, you can cast them pretty early. Like you could do a turn 4 All Is Dust, just the same as a Wrath of God, but you can hit Planeswalkers with that, which is pretty good, but mainly everything's just buy you extra time. I'm not sure about these. We might have a weak combo matchup, might need some more, I don't know, maybe we could play like Rule of Law or something, but right now we're trying out this. Maybe we could splash another color like white or splash red and have something like Fire Spout if we wanted to go against aggressive decks. But right now we're just trying straight up blue-green, so we're going to enter a daily event and see how this goes.